Bit glitchy, but anyways, hi guys, or should I say, hey everyone, this is Agricola here. I'm back as always, and this time around, it's a very beautiful month because it's a great reminder for all societies and human beings in Malaysia. We are currently looking at an entire month of October, ensuring that everyone's aware of one of the things that we usually know someone in our lives who have gone through it or have survived it or who may have been who have passed away from it. We're looking at October month as the Cancer Awareness Month, and what not to have this with four of the most influential and affluent nonprofits in the country relating to cancer research and also all things related to cancer prevention and whatnot. And I'm pretty honored today to be here actually because we have these three amazing guests who'll be joining us and who'll be not just entertaining us, but at the same time having real conversations where we're able to learn more on what is there that we, the public, need to know and that we could easily help ourselves, train ourselves, and be more aware on preventing it before it happens. So, and it's an honor to have someone from this amazing foundation who's been around for more over than 2 decades, and do correct me if I'm wrong later on. The Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation here in Malaysia. We have the two co-founders with us. We have Datuk, Dr. Devanand, along with Yong Lee. Both of them are the co-founders of this foundation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, I totally forgot. Oh yes, we also have another guest. Yes, this is a special one. As I said, in our show, we don't just bring regular people to come to the fray. We want to have a good mix so that everyone at the end of the show could actually do something that really matters. That's what it's called. The show is called It Matters. So, and that's why I want to. That's why we always feature people of some degree of influence. And today we have none other than Serene Claire, artist / Miss Universe Malaysia runner-up of 2020, and hopefully an actress too, a model, you name it, the voice of the people to some extent. Thank you and welcome to the show, Serene.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me today.
No. We are all happy to have each other today. And I think all four of us are coming from various backgrounds, truly representing Malaysia the way how it should be. But the main point of being in this show today is the both of you, Dr. Devanand and Lily. The both of you started this together. You have an ongoing legacy going on. But I think if I can dare say, maybe the young youths who are below the age of 25, maybe they're not aware of all the major players who are doing specifically what you both are doing. So I want to perhaps get your gauge on how did you both started? Was there a story? Was there an incident that happened? And how did you go both meet? And why is it important that you guys are doing with the Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation?
Lily, you want to go?
Datuk go first because he started earlier than I came.
If you want, it's no problem.
Yes, Datuk.
No, it is actually it's a journey. Truly, it's a journey. And where I was working at a hospital way back some 20 years ago, what I realized basically quite a lot of our patients who came in to do breast examination, they were shy, especially of Muslim society. At the point of time, we're talking about way back in 2021, so basically, sorry, we're talking about 2001, 2002. We did realize that most of the patients who came in, they were having locally advanced disease. So this is where the issue was. They were not coming in early as a stage 1. You know, there are 4 stages to breast cancer, but stage 1, stage 2 are, we call it the early breast cancer, EBC. But the ones that come in stage 3, stage 4, we call them as locally advanced, if not advanced breast cancer. We begin to realize when we talk to patients, they do not know where to go on this issue. The only other organization at that point of time was Breast Cancer Welfare Association. They were doing a little bit of work. Then we realized there's a bit of a vacuum, a huge vacuum going on, where patients were not getting the information they want. And if we are gathered 20 years ago, internet was not as so aggressive as it is today, neither social media. And then we realized that if we can do something about getting more and more of this information out, not so much as to treat them, but at least get them to understand a little bit about prevention and early diagnosis. So in the hospital where I worked, I realized at the point of time, not many women were coming for mammogram because they were scared of mammogram. They were worried about the radiation, and they were worried about having the so-called machine causing some kind of pressure on the vital organ and so on and so forth. So we went on a campaign, at least myself and a few volunteers in the hospital where I worked. We started campaigning almost every year until the point of 2006 when the hospital where I worked, we won the Asian Hospital Management Award for PR management.
Oh, wow.
PR and marketing of breast cancer as an entity. Then more and more hospitals started joining the venture that we started at the hospital I worked. And then we began to realize there's a huge demand for this info base. That was when in 2009, Ms. Yong Lily became a parcel of our entity. And that's how we started. To get this thing going, I started gathering about 24 cancer survivors. Some of them are still around with us, rather many of them are. And then I took them to Brisbane for a huge major conference.
Oh, in Australia?
And that's when we raised funds from the private sector, and we took 29 cancer survivors to Brisbane so that they may learn about how patients in those countries, or in that country, plus other countries who came in to join, how they were surviving. Many of our patients were scared about surviving breast cancer, scared about having to identify the entity, the cultural issues, the inhibitions. And the same journey, in 2011, we took another 74 cancer survivors to Taiwan for a similar conference, and that was the beginning of the eye-opener for the creation of the foundation in 2012. And that's when Yong Lily joined the bandwagon with other volunteers, and that's when our footing became more prominent. And 2012, in February, foundation was formed and launched in June of 2012. It became a lot bigger, but minding the fact that foundation doesn't have members, we have got a lot of volunteers. And so we journey ourselves only with the work of volunteers. And this is why it is very, very important for a foundation to manage. We must have volunteers who are passionate about the job to be done. And of course, my biggest passionate member is Yong Lily. She's a co-founder of this foundation. And she has been our strong lady. Serene, the strong lady of the foundation.
I have so much to learn from her and you.
Lily will tell you about the journey. Lily, go on.
Okay. Of course, I'm a breast cancer survivor myself for 18 years now, almost 2 months short of 18 years. It all started when I was diagnosed with breast cancer at stage 1. And Dr. Dave happened to be my doctor is stated because it was referred by the hospital. It was, of course, definitely a very shocking news because I just resigned from my corporate life after I recovered from a stroke. So I thought I would be able to lead a better and healthier life. However, I was told that I actually got breast cancer at the age of 42. Thank goodness it was stage 1, very early stage. I just had to remove a lump and I did radiotherapy and that's it. No chemo, no nothing. However, being a career woman, after going through treatments and alone at home and mom telling me not to eat chicken, not to, indulge in things that I love to eat, sweet and things like that. So I slowly read into depression because I thought I was alone, no friends. And I consulted, I went to counseling at an NGO, but I didn't like it. After 2 sessions, I left because they was just sharing sob story and I felt more depressed after the counseling. So I just know that something is not right. And blessed in 2009, Datuk invited me to help him to fundraise and together with all the rest of the survivor, that's what Datuk have already mentioned. That is the reason why I'm so passionate about Pink Ribbon because after that conference, it was an eye-opener for me. I realized that I can eat everything, things that I love to eat. It's just changed my life. So when we came back, we all started the Pink Ribbon journey and the rest is history. It's 11 years ago. The foundation was established and I felt that the foundation has helped me rather than I helped the foundation. It has made me stronger and really pulled me out of depression. And I have a full team of volunteers. We call ourselves Pink Sister and we are very close and they're all volunteers. They are survivors and of course we have Datuk and a few other doctors as council member. And we enjoy doing what we are doing every day. So that's the reason why we are so passionate about the foundation.
Oh, thank you for that, Lily. Serene's heart's touched. I'm also very touched, and a decade ago, it's probably more than a decade ago when you were going through this.
Yeah, 14
what was
years,
going through my mind while you were sharing the story is a lot of people talk about misinformation sometimes, and I think you mentioned just now that you were into this, you were some sort of counseling at this NGO and it didn't felt right. But battling misinformation also is one of the causes for people not knowing themselves better when they know of their condition and symptom. And what was the misinformation that you went through before you met Dr. Devanand to kind of help you out, if there were any? That is still that, because it could be still a common thing that people.
There's so much because after I knew that there's actually life beyond breast cancer. Actually, my life after breast cancer is so much more better than my life before I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So that is so important that we wanted to let survivors and patients know that that's not not the end of the world when we are told we have breast cancer. We just have to take charge and do the right thing, and we will really then slowly, of course, see that the change in us and become stronger, I guess. In fact, I was diagnosed recurrence 2 years ago. Okay, after 16 years, I had a recurrence, and thank God it was also early detection. I'm so thankful the journey this time was so different because with the knowledge, with the support, I'm able to overcome that recurrence just like few days. Of course, being human, we are shocked and we cry. But I was so fast, I just took charge and I said, I just have to do what doctor tell me to do, and life had to go on. And I have 2 girls that I'm responsible to ensure that, you know, they have a good life and happy life for the whole family. So don't just get dwell into, you know, the problems. We just have to make changes and move on. And after a year, I had another small tumor detected. Even after I removed both my breasts, that second time I did a mastectomy, double mastectomy. I thought, you know, I've done what I'm supposed to do, but it still came back for whatever reason. But I never asked why. I just thanked doctor for detecting it early for me. So 3 times early detection, and we just have to move on. So I just wanted to say this, you know, the message is we have to take charge and change what we are, you know, we couldn't change what is already done. We have to change what we can do in the future. That's it.
I really want to give you a hug right now. I'm so touched. I'm controlling my tears actually.
Let it all
I
out.
used to cry a lot, but no
You're
more.
such a strong
No need to
woman.
cry. Yeah, life had to go on. No more tears.
Oh my God.
Good?
Because like, I imagine like you've gone through the first time already, and then like after that it came back for another two more times, right? Yeah, as you mentioned just now. Yeah. So I have a question, like because as the technology is like slowly growing and more like advancing right now, so do the patient need to like remove the entire thing, like even if you are like already at the 3rd stage or the 4th stage? Yeah, because as I saw like the news from like Angelina Jolie, I think she got her breast tissue removed, but I think she still like remain the shape and the structure, like outer structure, but like just the tissue got removed. So what is the difference between like these 2 different surgery?
Lily, you want to answer that?
Over to you.
Hey, thank you.
I wanted an answer. I'm a bit shy, but like
no. I think
it's like two gentlemen.
No.
It's a good line of question because many people have this misinformation that the moment you have breast cancer is a death sentence. It is not true. A lot of patients are surviving well. The issue still remains if we take the subject of why have we become such an endangered species in this environment, is because we are not getting enough education about the importance of breast cancer screening. We want more and more women to screen and be detected when the cancer is still small, probably as small as 1 millimeter in a mammogram. But the essence basically in our country, at least in Malaysia and probably all the 14 Asian countries, cancer is being detected somewhere in stage 3 and stage 4. So just like in Indonesia, in Malaysia, we're still doing about 40 to 45% of women coming with advanced stages. When you compare that with, say, the United States and America, they have only about 11% with stage 3, stage 4. That is 7% at stage 3 and 4% at stage 4. Whereas we have got 33% at stage 3 and the rest coming at stage 4. So many women are coming in that stage. So when they do have that, it is quite impossible to save the breast. Quite impossible. Even if you give them chemotherapy, we downsize the cancer size, we downsize the tumor volume, we downsize the tumor spread elsewhere, which may be in the lungs or liver or the bones and so on. It may be very tough trying to save the breast. Of course, there are patients in stage 4, after having given chemotherapy, the cancer just melts away, and that is a real good fortune. Then they get reconstruction done. But the best reconstruction will come in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, where the cancer has not spread beyond. The risk of cancer coming back is reduced or less. So Angelina Jolie is a different story because she genes in her where the DNA is well, we'll say defective. We call it BRCA1, BRCA2, breast cancer, gene 1 and gene 2, the commonest two common genes which is seen in the so-called familial surrounding, as in the family type. Now, in those patients, if you do the BRCA test, nowadays available in this country, it probably costs about $1,000 to do. Maybe about 10 years ago, it was $6,000 to do the test. Now it's about 1,000 to 1,600. You can do the test, and then it's just as simple as a 3 ml of blood, and or they can even take the lining from the buccal mucosa, from the mouth, and give you an answer within a week. And they tell you whether you are having defective genes or not. If they are, then basically you run a risk of getting breast cancer. So Angelina Jolie, when she was 38, she decided to remove both the breasts. She did know at that point of time that if she reaches 50, her risk of getting breast cancer is almost 85%. Wow. That means she's surely going to be a cancer person. Yeah. At the same time, she could be running the risk of about 60% getting ovarian cancer. So you probably will know from the story that 4 years later, when she was about 42, 43, she went ahead and even removed both the ovaries. That means she became menopause, but after having learned how to manage menopause in that period of time. So those patients who have in the so-called stage, yeah, of course, we can do double mastectomy, save the breast, reconstruct the breast. We can bring the fat from, the abdominal fat and bring it out. And or you can bring the breast tissue, or tissue from behind, the skin from the back and bring it forward. Or you could just have the cheapest one of those, basically the implants done. You can choose the size after that. But the story in Malaysia and of course the 14 Asian countries that we have is many patients, even as I gathered the figure of 2011, when we had 43% with advanced breast cancer, we call it locally advanced. Our Director General, I think just recently, maybe just before he retired, he released the figures of 2016, the Malaysian National Cancer Registry, indicating that our stage 3, stage 4 has reached 47.9%. That means between 2011 and 2016, in the period of 5 years, in spite of the education process, it doesn't matter whether Yong, Lily or myself, we have been through all the states in the country, and short of Kedah and Penang, we have been through all the states. We have given education to corporate companies, schools, so many places we have been. We have been to plenty of places. But in that period of 5 years, the number of locally advanced breast cancer increased from 43% to 47.9%. And increment is not a good standard of measure.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a tough journey for us, and of course for you, Serene, if you think you have to champion. So
I have a question, Datuk. What is the? I mean, I do forgive my my illiteracy in this subject, but my main question is mainly on, maybe it's very difficult to kind of pinpoint the real root of people who do have cancer, and the other means to do so, as you said, is to do screen test, to do all this screening, right?
See,
what age?
We have all the facilities in the country. In fact, I would say Malaysia is well advanced in this. Okay. And I remember when we started the project in 2003, 2004, when we raised funds, we gave it to Hospice Malaysia, we gave it to an NGO here that was doing a College of Radiology to do breast cancer screening. For East Malaysia, we gave 100,000. For West Malaysia, we gave another 100,000 from the project I did. But the point was, we still have a generation of change.
Yeah.
Of people who are still not there for the objective of trying to learn about breast cancer. So I'm actually truly excited about what you are doing, trying to reach out. And I hope more of these can be without us, it doesn't matter. But the idea was to reach out so that we can get more people involved, not as a community, but as a self. You take care of yourself. So when we go into, in the early years, I had this so-called 3E principle. That means we educate, but we educate en masse. I would believe that we don't hold hands on an individual basis and not enough. So we go on an educational campaign, And the other basic thing was to keep on encouraging women to do breast examination, encouraging. The third word was to empower. Ask them to go and either do raise funds, teach others in your community. So we have the 3E principle. We suggest educate, we suggest to encourage, and to also educate. Now, of course, you see the T-shirt that Lily is wearing is different. She talks about connect, support, and inspire. And that is our theme in the Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation. We want to connect everybody, we want to support everybody, we want to inspire them. And that is part of the so-called, and for the same reason, we kept on having lecture series all over the country except for Kedah. For some reason, Kedah did not meet our requirements somewhere. It did not match. And Penang has got its own legacy, so we have they have got a good team there. They have been all over the country giving education. And we have already had, I think, 3 major conferences organized by our organization, 2012. I mean, it came back after the Taiwan trip. It was then done at Shangri-La. We probably spent about 400,000 Lily at the time. And thoughtfully, a lot of corporate companies came to help us. And then we had 3 years later in 2015, 2018. And then we were supposed to have 2021, but it didn't happen. Yeah, but I think we have been through a long journey. But if I gather from the statistics of the mission, our MOH, we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. And I just was back from Indonesia recently, from Medan, and you realize they've got a huge volume, almost 60%. We've got 47%, they've got 60% of breast cancer in the 3rd and 4th stage. Yeah. They're in the same group as Pakistan and Bangladesh. So they do have an issue too. Yeah. So as far as surgery is concerned, of course there are steps being taken to improve the character and so on. But I think the most important part is if we can get more and more women to come in and do their own breast examination, just simple things that you do every month, and of course to come in and see the doctors from the age of 20 to 39, where you don't have to do a mammogram, you just do a breast examination. Maybe you need an ultrasound, simple. After the age of 40, you do a mammogram. And a lot of hospitals now are already running campaigns and subsidized mammo in the month of October. And some of the hospitals are also giving free mammogram during this period. So, but we still need to bring Muhammad down from the mountain to get to do the mammogram. Yeah.
So that's why you came up with the 3E you mentioned. You got to educate people. You got to encourage them.
Encourage.
And empower them. So that they are self-aware. So my question, I have a question, and then I think I'll get Serene to also answer her question, because I'm sure I'll ask her question because I think she has something of relevancy as well. But my question is, has there been, since the inception of Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation, did you ever make any kind of attempts or programs to somehow instill an educational track within schools? Because I do not know what's the early year of detection for someone who may have an ovarian cancer or breast cancer. But if there was a number and it would be fittingly fit in whether it's in college or high school, was there any attempt towards that? Because then I would think there's more emphasis from a government policy to kind of ensure that instead of just we teach our kids, we teach our students, but at the same time, let's also monitor their health line, because that's also data, right? Is that something that has been attempted before, or you are doing so at the moment that we're not aware of? Or
Lily, it's your turn.
We have done a couple.
How are you doing? Today I summon you.
We did a couple of
She's the manager for all this, I said a subject. She is the champion in this, in trying to get schools organized, colleges organized. So she's involved.
Okay,
in fact, it's actually very good that the school are taking the initiative. Not so much as we approach them. It's really very, very good. The school are the one that approach us and ask us to give talks. And in fact, like last year, another university, I think it's Asia Pacific University, they actually arranged. They are the one that approached us. So the initiative is there. So because they know that it's so important that we should educate them at that young age. So college onwards, the younger girls maybe less, I think. But the 20 and above, they have.
And how is it encouraged from a student level, if you don't mind me asking? Because I would think it always comes from. Is it better from top to bottom or bottom to top?
Bottom to top, I think. You have to educate them from young. Start to learn about breast self-examination. That's so important, yeah. In fact, they can also educate their mother, their sister, after they learn from, In fact, some of them also did fundraising. They are young, I'm talking about like high school young kids. They did fundraising and then they donated a few $1,000s to Pink Ribbon, things like that. It's all started at the school level as well.
It is relevant that breast cancer in the young, if we say in the United States and in the Western countries, it's only about 7% under the age of 40. So if the figures are not high, but nonetheless, your question exactly was quite relevant from the point that our current generation of the young, at least if we look into obesity rate, is slowly increasing in the adolescent.
Oh, really?
Adolescent group, yes. So they say if you are a fat adolescent or you're overweight adolescent, you become an overweight mother. And between midlife in the 30s into early 40s, you become a cancer survivor. And not only cancer of the breast, you also cancer survivor of some almost like 14 other cancers. This is where obesity is coming in. So you're talking about almost 380 million adolescents are in the world today who are overweight. It's a huge volume. And this has got to do with the fact that our dietary pattern has changed. Fast foods, grabs, and so on and so forth. Now, if we are able to improve one of the key areas, because we have obesity rate of about 49% in this country in women, 44% in men. But we take that off and say adolescents are also now in 17 to 18, and then they become a first-time breast cancer survivor when they're just in the 20s. And that is a serious issue. So it goes to show that if this education process doesn't sort of change, or we culturally do not change, of course it's not going to be possible for us to change back to the generation where we have more veggie, more fruits, and so on and so forth, but to instill that this so-called high volume of unprocessed or rather processed food is not good for us.
Of course.
Or rather the high sugar volume, high calorie, obesity. Well, in the past we say if you're overweight when you're postmenopausal, risk of cancer increases. Well, nowadays it starts early at the age of 30s. When you're overweight, you turn 40s, and by the time you're postmenopausal, you're obviously obese and risk of breast cancer increases. So if we are going to teach the college, it's not probably about breast examination, because we know the risk of breast cancer in the 20 to 29 is only about 1.8%. It's very low, no doubt. But we've got patients who are only in their 20s whose mother had breast cancer, and just like Angelina Jolie, did not have time to catch up with doing a BRCA1, BRCA2, the breast cancer gene 1, gene 2. By the time she knew she had breast cancer, 9 months later, she was gone. So somewhere on the line, education needs to be a little bit more streamlined. Question is, we need to find a way where we can emphasize on certain elements about diet. We talk about exercise. This so-called, we call it DESST, diet, exercise, enough sleep. Our young generation is not getting enough sleep. They're getting less than 6 hours. When they're getting less than 6 hours sleep, their cortisol level goes up, and cortisol is not a friend. Cortisol is inflammatory and stress. So in the world, they've got figures to show that almost 1 million of all the so-called under 40 breast cancers many of them have got chronic stress. And similar figures came out from Hong Kong in the study. So our younger generation, if you're going to educate them at the college level, is going to be to emphasize on a few things.
Yeah.
Breast examination is a little bit tardy because sometimes they're very shy.
I agree.
They're shy, but I think nowadays people are going to be a bit more alert on this issue. But we should probably just venture along the line about what is your reasonable diet? What is a good option of trying to avoid processed food? What is a good weight management? Somewhere along the line.
Okay.
I think we have done schools before. We have gone to Ipoh schools. We have gone down to even KL, to a number of school colleges. We have been there. The element here is about trying to go slightly beyond breast examination and look into what cofactors that could be contributing to early adult cancers.
Correct. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's the whole point I'm trying to say, because I think a lot of the narrative is more about prevention.
Absolutely.
And the answers are already there. And I'm just from trying to learn from a someone who's not knowledgeable with these topics, right? I mean, if the answers are there and the data shows as such, and there's enough qualitative stories and to back up all of what you just shared, and wouldn't that mean the only way to ensure that we enact on this is to have some kind of you call it whatever, a legislation or a policy from either from a government level or from a ministerial level to, and not to say enforce, but it's for safety, because obesity, we all know. I think Malaysia alone, I think we're ranked number one in a few of those things, from diabetes to obesity.
Absolutely.
Right?
We are like the Twin Tower, We are like the Twin Tower. We like tall buildings. We like the tall buildings. Our obesity rate is the highest in Asia.
Yeah, that is, nothing to be proud of.
The PM has just launched this diet campaign with the Ministry of Health. They are fully aware. Yeah, today, I think today, yeah. Or yesterday,
okay,
yeah.
fresh.
Yeah. So they are fully aware, just that how to make sure everyone understands the risk.
I totally forgot to inform the three of you while we've been discussing and getting to know the whole story and everything. We have like a bunch of we have viewers here and they've been asking questions. So I managed to take some of those questions, right? And one of the questions for you, Serene, before I forget. And this is from from Eric van Elster. I think he's Dutch, obviously. He's asking, what is your story, Serene? Why are you so passionate about this cause?
About pink ribbon, is it?
I breast cancer.
Breast education.
Yes.
Actually, my aunt, she passed away because of breast cancer, and then it was a late detection. So when she found out that she got breast cancer, it was already the 4th stage. And then besides that, also I'm a women's advocate. Mainly, I like to talk about like women empowerment, self-love, about like sexual assault, education, things like that. So I think like breast cancer is a topic where we barely talk about it. I think first of all, it's because of the awareness is not as high as other topics. And then secondly, it's because it's a taboo topic in Malaysia to talk about. Like we can't really like name it out loud of breast cancer awareness. We have to name it like cancer awareness, something like that. So I think because I believe that everyone has a voice, and especially because I'm working in front of the screen, I'm a former Miss Malaysia, and I think I have the social responsibility to shed light about important issues. So definitely breast cancer awareness is one of them. Yeah, and today I just want to learn more from the experts so that I can receive all of the information. Hence, I can share on my social media to raise the awareness. Thank you.
No, that's perfectly the way how you say it.
Yeah.
I mean, like we are we love having people like you here because we need people like you. It's like an ecosystem, right? You have someone who's been in this grind for 2-3 decades, and they're just great at it. And then you need another component, someone who could, get a greater understanding on how can I tell the people. But this is not just about some Kim Kardashian stuff, which is what we are always consuming, right? This is what we're talking about. We are always looking at reels. It's all these kind of fluff content, but this is real stuff that could prevent someone, right? So
I think because also we are living in a perfect world. Like everyone expect everyone to be perfect because of social media. Like we always portray us as, oh, we're beautiful, hot body or fashionista, things like that, But nobody really talk about like what is actually going on in the world. And imagine that we as women, we don't have like this important part because this is our breast. Like it's not like our uterus, our like or ovum, ovary, like things like that. It's like something that can be seen. Imagine like if the social media it has been like portrayed perfectly, what about like those cancer warriors? Like they are lack of something. So are they going to feel like discriminated? And I think it doesn't show justice for that. So that is part of the reason that I think someone like me, I should shed light on like things like what is going on in the world right now. Yeah.
Right.
Well done. No, I'm just clapping. I don't know if you can see. Even Datuk clapping is a big deal, y'all.
Right. Easy.
I'm still learning, so please teach me more.
No. We're all learning. We don't stop learning till we die. That's what I've been focusing when I was young. Okay, we're gonna take a quick 3-minute break because the reason why is we have a few partners that would like to deliver that message. So I would like to show who these partners are, who are also spreading the news of this Cancer Awareness Month. And this week's partner is by these guys. So enjoy the video. It should go about. My bad. So that was a video by You Venture Asia. You Venture Asia is one of our network partners on this Cancer Awareness Month. They are a focused agency that helps a lot of students from all across universities to empower, encourage, and educate. Backwards from what you were saying. And yeah, they are championing the local scene here in Malaysia when it comes to students. So they're actually quite aggressively promoting our Cancer Awareness Month. As a matter of fact, one of their biggest events is called Lorong Belakang. It's basically a gimmick name for their pop-up store that happens in Cyberjaya with 50 different booths, and they get a good traffic about in the thousands. So it happens twice this month, and every booth of the vendors will be promoting the Cancer Awareness Month through a QR code. So that's as far as they're going in terms of trying to create like you said, the awareness required. because we're not aware of the most important things. Like just like you said, Serene, we're more aware of things that is just pure laughing and, you know, it doesn't really add much value by the time you reach 40 or 50 or 80, you know what I'm saying? So so that's the whole, so that's Youth Venture Asia. But I did also wanted to show this video from Pink Ribbon on the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but I hope the video plays well because it's quite heavy. So let's see if it does well. So fingers
in the time it
crossed.
takes you to watch
Please,
this,
that would play.
one person just
Slightly
died from
laggy,
breast cancer.
sorry. Come on, play
That
the video,
person
please.
is somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's wife. In Malaysia, 1 in 19 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. Detected early, the survival rate for stage 1 breast cancer is 99%. But left too late, by stage 4, your chances of survival drop to 1 in 5. A mammogram is painless, takes about 10 minutes, and is completely safe. So why wait if it could mean saving your life? Consult your physician and schedule a mammogram today, because early detection saves lives.
That video was prepared by Lim Kok Wing, kan, Lily?
Yes, the late Tan Sri Lim Kok Wing
Actually, yes.
helped us a lot in reaching out this message. Yeah. Basically, I'm muted. Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
You hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay. I don't know what happened. I kind of got lost in space, internet space. So yeah, I think there was a slight lag. But yeah, thank you so much. I just want to say thanks to those for those sharing the video. Also, Pink Ribbon, thank you so much for the video, and also Youth Venture Asia for being part of the network partner. Again, I have another set of questions for you now, Dr. Devan. It's the same from the same guy, Mr. Eric Van Alster. He's very interested, but not really related to breast cancer. But he wants to get your thoughts on alternative treatments which are less mainstream, but have in the past shown interesting results in cancer and prevention, such as rice race, sugar deprivation through a carnivore diet. Okay. Oxygen therapy, high dose of green tea extract, water fasting, CBD oil, and other cannabinoids. What are your thoughts on that?
If I have a checklist, all of them do not fit in.
Oh crap!
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
There is a value that we have at Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation, is to only give information that is legit and been time tested and proven. So we live in a very cultural world in this country. We have Chinese, Indian, Malaysian, so many. But each one of our cultures have got different values. So in terms of all the kind of beliefs, in terms of when it comes to how to prevent cancer, how to prevent cancer recurrence, and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, at the so-called Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation, we are bound by our values not to instill any information that does not match international standard and understanding. So while we have in that list, basically, sugar deprivation is about not adding enough, or rather not adding too much more, or I use the word, don't use added sugar.
I see.
Now, if the international, say United States, they consume about 16 to 17 teaspoons of sugar per day in all their drinks and for all these extras.
Yeah.
We Malaysians are using almost 26 teaspoons of sugar per day. It is a privilege that we become fat by virtue of our desire to be happy. So we eat wherever we can. We have 6 meals a day. We put in a lot of sugar stuff. And of course, the industry now is being a bit more quite open in terms of it's very challenging to have, the vendors giving out all kinds of foods. But it is interesting because there is people who are able to afford. But WHO has recommended that we should stay within 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. That means your tea should only contain 1 teaspoon of sugar. Your coffee should have 1 teaspoon of sugar, if not half a teaspoon of sugar. Remembering the rice that we eat every day contains anything up to 7 grams of sugar per portion. That means we're already having enough sugar from our rice. Then we have Maggi mee, we have noodles, we have all kinds of stuff. That is where the 26 teaspoons of sugar coming from per day. So we are consuming stuff that makes us fat, and fat means extra estrogen. Estrogen means more pro-inflammatory process and cancer. Same thing applies to when you have more sugar, you have more insulin coming into your body. More insulin also is pro-inflammatory and makes cancer. So what we are doing actually, from our habitual pattern, we are creating cancer in our own body. And of course, in that list, I can only agree on, you can say sugar deprivation means you limit your sugar, especially the added sugar. Green tea is an excellent choice instead of all the teh tarik that we take every day. If we can avoid, of course, green tea is a choice of many, and not so many. You could have green tea with a bit of tea. You can put green tea and honey. You can put some even curcumin in your green tea. So curcumin on that list is a yes, because curcumin is an anti-inflammatory. It adds value to your food, yes. It does also can add value to all your salads and so on and so forth. So on that list, I still think sugar, we understand about sugar today. We understand about curcumin. I think the rest of the list is going to be a very difficult one because we can't advocate giving our education process a questionable answer. And so far today, none of these theories have been proven. Of course, they are anecdotes in terms of water deprivation and CBD oils and all this stuff. There are so many of these factors, but they are all anecdotals. But we do understand that there are quite a lot of, in the social media, plenty of stories to tell you that by doing so and so and so, Ayurvedic medicine can treat cancer. We have got patients who are on Ayurvedic medicine for 2 years and the cancer hasn't progressed. Well and good for her. But in the process, when we ask direct questions, she has also gone vegetarian. They've been gone off the so-called carnivorous diet. We know that when you take carnivorous diet, as in all kinds of red meat, saturated fat, you goreng everything, you take more oil. Those are inflammatory processes. So when you go vegetarian, it doesn't mean your cancer doesn't progress, but it progresses slower compared to other diets. So alternative therapy is a challenge. And we at Pink Ribbon, I'm sure Lily will agree with me, we have set a formula where we will not discuss. In fact, we will instill topics about alternative therapy, but we leave it to the person to choose. We only give the education, and we say we give the yes and we give the no's, and we tell you what are the inhibitors. We talk about the basic, the herbs that we use in all our food. Whether we use quite a lot. If you have a Thai food, you have so much of these so-called herbs which are supposed to be of good value. And we also talk about probiotics, we talk about prebiotics and so on and so forth. So the elements of goodness is to transfer knowledge which is time-tested. We have got patients who have gone to spirulina and the cancer did come back. Now spirulina is supposed to be an energy booster. Yes, we know that, but the original spirulina comes from Hawaii at a temperature of 27 degrees centigrade when it's under the water. Nowadays, spirulina is all commercially produced. And what they put inside is another question. So it's going to be a tough one for everyone to choose.
I agree. So here's another. Yeah, I was going to also, because all of this, what you're detailing out, it also comes across where, I would say, like, if you don't look out for your well-being, your health, and everything that you do leads to chronic obesity or diabetes, it's basically what you eat, right? It's all about the food. So I understand this question comes out, more about there must be some other alternatives, yada, yada, yada. And of course, we can agree to some and agree to disagree to some of them, again, based down to the person who wants to try or not.
Yes.
But early on, I was just talking to Serene on Instagram, actually, because we were discussing in our, what about male breast cancer? It's so not talked about, and I only know one person, which of course not in Malaysia. He's somewhere. He's somewhere. I cannot disclose that. Kesian dia. So how much do you know about male breast cancer?
It's very infrequent. We on the average, whether we're here in Malaysia or we are in the United States, the incidence is still only 1%. Okay. So when we look at the figure in the United States, they've got probably in 2022, they have about 290,000 female breast cancers, basically, and they have 1% male breast cancer. In this country, we have about 8,000 women with breast cancer. We still probably have 80 men with breast cancer, 1%. Probably slightly less, but about that. But
okay.
What is important from your topic or from your discussion was, well, we used to say the male breast cancer comes in after the age of 55 and 60, when they have got some liver problem and so on and so forth. They have got cirrhosis, their so-called male hormone drops, and the female hormone goes up. The breast starts to develop because female hormone has become the so-called. See, on the average, we have got in a male, we have got 99% testosterone and 1% estrogen in a male. The reverse is for a female. The female has got 99% estrogen and 1% of testosterone.
Okay.
But when you reach 50, 55, you're supposed to be going to the age of andropause. Then your testosterone goes down, but in ratio, your female hormone goes up. From 1%, it goes to 1.5, 1.8%. And that is why you see, when you go to a swimming pool in a club, you find some males with breast development. It's not only the obesity, but it's also breast tissue development. If you are a chronic alcoholic, or you have got liver disease for some reason, or you got chronic hepatitis, liver inflammation, fatty liver, nowadays which is fashion. Every time you go to a hospital, you do ultrasound, you find everybody got fatty liver. Now, that is where the risk of breast cancer in the male starts. But the incidence is low, about 1%.
Okay.
The question you ask is interesting because now we are seeing a male breast cancer even in a younger than 40-year-old.
What? Okay. I mean, in my thought, it's that the age don't matter but from what you're saying, the usual cases are those above the age 50 and beyond.
55, 60, yes.
60. But now you're saying the younger ones, okay, like kind of like my age group, like mid-30s, these are the ones that are emerging with male breast cancer. And why is that?
So again, it goes back, I mentioned one keyword just now, fatty liver.
Fatty liver, okay.
Is our diet.
See.
The more processed food you eat, right, the more insulin you have, you develop some kind of insulin resistance, and that is when your sugar starts to spike and the risk of cancer increases. Because your liver is basically like an organ of its own. And then you find this is where the issue is fatty liver, where the issue basically is we have too much of biscuits and we have a lot of these cakes on the floor wherever you go to a party or then alcohol. All these will disturb the liver. And then the male hormone changes, the female hormone increases, the risk of cancer increases. So we see a small pattern here that our lifestyle, the key word is our lifestyle. Our lifestyle has changed and becoming like an endangerment. We are creating a lifestyle that endangers our environment and cancer. So it's very frightening. It's very frightening because when I look at Peng Ribbon Wellness Foundation, I told Didi, I think just a few weeks ago, after we finished a camp at Beacon Resort way back in May, I realized that when we spoke to about 140 cancer survivors, we still feel there's a vacuum even among the cancer survivors in terms of knowledge. What about beyond us? A huge vacuum going on. So it's going to be a tough one.
That is quite a toughie. But I think everywhere around the world, cancer has spiked. Was it common back? Let's say when you were 10 years old, Datuk, was it common?
No,
cancer,
no,
right?
probably it was common, but it was probably not detected. But all said and done, even at the point when we talk about hundreds of years ago, when Napoleon Bonaparte was there, his own sister had breast cancer at the age of 38. Of course, Napoleon was just a history for us until we talk about breast cancer. We found his own sister had breast cancer. The element here is lifestyle has changed. In the past, people were less stressful, get enough sleep, and less issue of inflammation. Our diet pattern has changed. We are having more processed food, also causing a problem. The way we cook our food has changed, So I think it's a huge rigmarole that we have to learn how to change. It's very important. Now, the element when we talk about male breast cancer, we also talk about female breast cancer in the young. There's one element that surprises us, but basically is not strangely in our social media now, is women are getting married much later than they were. Say about 15, 18 years ago, in the late 90s and early 2020s, we were getting married at the age of 25. They finish their college and get on education, they get married and have children.
Yeah.
Now the average age is about 28 and they have their first pregnancy after the age of 30, 31. And we do know if you get married early, you have your first pregnancy early, your breast tissue matures early, your risk of cancer drops.
Oh.
Because breast tissue that matures early, either process of pregnancy or as a result of breastfeeding. When the breast tissue matures, the DNA changes around you doesn't disturb the breast too much. The risk of cancer drops. But on the other hand, when you get married after the age of 30, you get first pregnancy after the age of 31, 32, your risk of breast cancer increases by about 4% per year. So we are creating...
Hey, hold on. Relax. Today you're actually young, right? You're like 22, 21, right? You're good, right?
I wish.
Oh, don't worry. It's all the power of the mind, right? That's all, the power of the mind.
Yes, power of the mind.
Power of the mind.
I'm also
so what we are saying basically is women are getting married later and having less children, or getting married and not having a pregnancy, not by choice, not having a pregnancy, or getting married, have a pregnancy but not breastfeeding because they have to go back to work. So the breast tissue matures but goes on into the area of, we call it DNA changes. And of course, our younger generation women are also getting to alcohol a bit more than usual. So you say what was in the past and now, alcohol a bit earlier. There's also a younger generation of population which is going on over to oral contraceptive pills, like in Australia. At the age of 14, they're already on OC pills for various reasons. So when that happens, the longer you're on the pill, the higher the chance of getting breast cancer. So strangely, this is the lifestyle of the last 2 decades. So it's not going to be easy to...
But I would say the lifestyle now, it's all driven by, could I sum it up as pleasure? Like, it is pleasure, right?
That's what Serene said earlier.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Pleasure.
If I can do, you can.
Yeah, it's like taking this contraceptive pill. It's the pleasure to, okay, I'm just going to have fun with my partner, yada, 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 and then followed by drinking, These are all, at the end of the day, I think when you reach a certain maturity, you'll be like, oh, these were all short-term pleasures. I wish I'd have never done that. But no, you're fed with these things on social media, wherever you go, by your favorite artist, your favorite actress. So again, you go, it's the willpower. It's more about how disciplined you are to, or I would even dare say the type of people you're around with too, because that does help a lot. So I'm saying that there's more to than just being educating yourself on this matter, but also being exposed to what is making it easy for you to fall for these pleasures. Like, okay lah, you can have a bit of fun. I understand. We're humans. There are times that we just want to celebrate life, the small things or the biggest thing. But it's again, like you said, if the lifestyle is out of control or it's being fed by how the media wants you to kind of enjoy it, then there's the risk is down to the disciplinary of the individual. That's just what I just wanted to add. But I'm sure Serene has more questions now because now, yeah, you know, because you're here to learn.
Okay.
Yes.
So I would like to know what is the pre-symptoms. How do you know like you're abnormal, like the breast is abnormal?
Apparently, I think when we educate our society, as whenever we go and give our lectures, we are telling our participants not to be making a diagnosis. The first principle is, if you have been doing your breast examination every month, which we advocate, the best time to examine will be in the first week of your period cycle. If you're menopause, you examine any particular date that you choose. The idea is to know if there's a change in the breast. So the moment the breast behaves differently in terms of, okay, I got a pain which is unexplained, or I got pain which is persistent, or there's a change in terms of lumpiness, the first thing you do is get to see a doctor so that you can get to understand what your breast look like and feel like. So sometimes the advocacy is about you understanding. Remember, breast cancer is number 1 in the world, in women. Doesn't matter where you are. Even in India, when at a point of time 20 years ago, the figures were so low because they say, oh look, India is a vegetarian country, unlikely. Today, volume of breast cancer is reaching about 1 million plus per year, and the number of deaths is quite a lot. So the numbers are staggering. Even in our country, where you have got 8,000 plus, our death rate is almost like 30%. So the element here is, we are not asking our individual participants to make a diagnosis, but rather understand change. So when you do that, you see a doctor. The doctor will probably examine you, ultrasound you, and tell you, look, you got lumps. 90% of lumps in a young woman is completely harmless. Completely harmless, even up to 95%. So if they are harmless, our process of education is say, look, you have got a lump, say, in the breast tissue somewhere in the area of 12 o'clock. The next time you see a doctor or a GP, you just say, look, I got a lump at 12 o'clock. Can you tell me or verify whether it has increased in size? So we turn the responsibility back to the patient or person to proceed in her life. So change is very important. Diagnosis comes after, when the doctor, or we have got breast care nurses nowadays who can also help you make the diagnosis. It's only after the age of 40 is when we do a mammogram. The issue of mammogram is very interesting. When I was in Miami way back in 2001, 2002, that was about almost 20 years ago, we began to understand that breast cancer growth curve. It's very interesting. You say, how can you understand the growth? They studied 60,000 women who are nurses in the state of Florida, and they begin to tag and do analysis, and they found your cancer takes up to 1 to 8 years to grow before it comes into your hand. So the moment you can feel a lump in your breast, it is probably been there for the last 4 or 5 years, if not 6 years or 7 years. That an average lump in an Asian breast is about 4.2 cm. And Hong Kong did a study, and they did a mammogram feature for 10 years, and they could bring it down to 2.2 cm because they could get everybody involved. Hong Kong is an island state. It's very easy to manage. They could bring the cancer detection rate at 2.2 cm. And America today, the cancer, because of the so-called mammogram screening, they can pick up your cancer at 1.2 cm, which is stage 1. We were hoping 20 years ago, I was talking to Lily some feedback, when can we get to target women to be detected at 1.2 cm? That means mammogram for everybody. But our mammogram rate is only about 30% in this country so far. So the advocacy here is not about making a diagnosis when you're young, about having to understand the breast. When there's a change, just understand, just go for screening. So when we say a woman doesn't get married, it doesn't matter. It's a social environment. You choose the time when you get married. But at least understand the breast, whether it's got any kind of lumps, whether the lump is abnormal. Most of the time in a young woman, it's not cancer. I mentioned to you about 1.8% breast cancer rate under the age of 29. So it's very low.
Yeah.
So important thing is understand the breast. So that's why we advocate breast self-examination. I'll be giving that lecture at the university program in, I think, on the 21st of October, Incitement. But the element here is, it may not be true for somebody in a Western country where the breast is of a D size. They cannot pick out a lump which is 1.2 cm. That is why the screening mammogram is mandatory. They can pick up on a mammogram. But for us in Asia, where the breast cancer average about A to B cup size, you have the occasional with the C size, you might pick up a bigger lump, but nonetheless, an average woman should pick up anything in the size of 2 centimeters and below. So breast examination is a very important key because your God-given hands is underused.
Is there any massage that we can do to prevent from having breast?
Basically, you have to answer that.
What?
Not that I know of.
Does this
Yo.
for prevention?
I'm halal boy. I'm halal boy. Alhamdulillah, I'm halal boy.
I mean, like, it's sometimes
No, it's a
blend,
Sorry,
right? Like,
your question is valid, because when we talk about it's not so much a massage. How do you examine the breast? Of course, the advocacy that you can do it in the shower. You can do it basically when you are in front of a mirror or whatever it is, or you can even lie down and do.
Actually, I went to high school in the US. They actually showed you exactly how to do it. So the boys, for me, I was 15 years old at that time. The boys had to we had to look out for testicle cancer for the boys. So they literally show you a graphic video on how to identify them. While the girls, they were doing showing how you could do breast examination. So they are already doing that in school, in high school. I was 15. I just thought that would be a good added point there, because you got to start them young, right?
So our advocacy for breast examination is the best is when you're lying down, say on the 5th or 7th day of a period cycle. That's when the breast is soft. But at the same time, when you lie down, you use the God-given 4 fingers to examine the opposite breast. When you use that, you find that you can examine the breast by the clock, so that you become your own master. You can tell the doctor, say, look, I have a lumpiness in the area of 12 o'clock at the top. Now I go clockwise into 3 o'clock, into 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Then at the same time, when you lie down and examine, if you're A cup into B cup, if there's any lump which is 2 centimeters, you can fix with the fingers and tell you whether it's mobile or not mobile. Is it painful or not painful? You can tell the doctor the location of the lump and let the doctor confirm whether this lump is a water bag or a solid lump or otherwise. When you examine the shower, if a lump is mobile, as in a young woman, when the lump is supposed to be a fatty lump, you can't pick up the lump. If you have got a B into C, you can cup breast, you can't pick up the lump in your hands. So I have tested this all through my journey of 20-30 years of practice. Breast examination is when you lie down, be comfortable, and examine the right side of the breast with your left 4 fingers, and you can feel the breast gently. Of course, the last bit was always to examine the lump under the armpit, because sometimes the lumps of 1% of breast cancer occurs in the armpit area first. So you need to examine the armpit. So you just sort of put your hand at the back there and examine the breast. Simple techniques, yes, but of course there are advocates that will do in the shower to pick up, but in the shower, chances are you pick up bigger lumps, not the smaller lumps.
Is that helpful, Serene? Because I think that was extremely helpful.
I think coming back to the massage of the breast, I think a lot of the young women, they actually apply some cream to enlarge the breast with some, collagen cream. I think that is the risk, increase the risk of breast cancer. I think we need to warn, for using chemical or whatever to enlarge the breast. I think that is a big no-no.
Oh.
If there's
May I
that
ask
danger,
why?
We still, you say to prevent, but there are
Yeah.
cases where they actually do that. Yeah.
that's messed up.
Because
It's
I always
dangerous.
thought that massage is good for the blood circulation. So it kind of like prevent like blood clot or like, you know.
Now, that was the theory of 1940s when
Okay.
women were wearing corseted bras to lift the breast up, and they say, look, by virtue of that, the blood cannot flow, and that's why the cancer came in, and so on and so forth. That is
Yeah.
not really true. Now we know.
Oh.
Now we know breast cancer is heavily related to your own hormones, estrogen. So we talk about pregnancy, lactation. We also talk about xenoestrogen. That means hormones that you put onto your body, as in your makeup, your cosmetics.
Yeah.
Some of them basically, has got, quite a lot of things. Basically, so parabens. You talk about parabens and so forth. So the essence basically, is
Everything away.
try and use less and less of the chemical stuff.
Let's
The
go
chemical
for
stuff
plant-based.
onto your skin. So we think that one of the reasons we think that things are not getting better for breast cancer is an average woman uses about 16 different chemicals on their body per day, from the shampoo, whatever they use. Don't mind, even men are doing that too, no? No.
No, I don't. That's not real men. That's I'm just
The
saying.
shade,
And perfume.
perfume.
Yeah.
Cologne, yes, once in a while. I don't use deodorant.
Of course, we talk about the estrogen content coming from your plastic containers, water bottles, the chemicals, the lipstick, all that stuff. So we have got a huge learning curve in terms of cancer prevention. But I think the elements is a lot got to do with lifestyle. We make our own choices.
I agree.
So massage doesn't help with prevention from getting breast cancer.
No, it doesn't. But if we advocate massage for women who have gone through treatment and then having had surgery done, and then they also have gone through radiation therapy. So the massage will help to improve the circulation of the lymphatics and all this stuff, and make the breast recover from the journey of surgery, chemo, and radiation. So the massage is, we do advise that to our patients.
I can also suggest to you, Serene, since you're talking to the two co-founders from Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation, pay a visit, and you can have the whole workshop or class or whatnot, cover everything, and then raise more awareness, because this is important. I didn't know that, massaging breasts and stuff, not my breast, but massaging to kind of help yourself. So many, 60 different kind of creams per day. That's a bit too much. All these little things. If Dr. Devanand says so, then it is what it is. So
you could join us on the 21st of October. It's a Saturday from morning 8 until 6 p.m. if you have the time.
Is it a physical workshop or online?
No, it's not. It's a teaching session for public in the morning and for breast cancer survivors in the afternoon. We are expecting about 200 packs.
It's a women health forum that we organize every year. Women health.
Is it this one, Lee, that you wanted to show me? This one? Is it this one?
Yeah, correct.
It's coming. There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Advertise.
So,
what is this?
We have 14 lectures. Doctor Lee.
Yeah. I think I'll be doing the
Wow. Look at that. Okay, that's the first thing you see. Importance of breast self-examination. Serene, this is the one. And followed by
We have this Women's Health Forum every year, sort of the COVID years, and we invite about 200 people to come out. We used to use the Nexus platform in Bangsa, and of course things have got a bit more expensive now in terms of. So we are doing it in University Malaysia in joint venture with the University Malaysia doctors there. Prof C is our colleague friend there, and we should have a good attendance there.
Absolutely. If you go, Serene, I'll go also,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Welcome.
Okay, deal. Done. It's live stream.
Right?
Learn. Yeah.
21st.
Let me know, Sikri. If you
Yes.
Sure.
calendar.
There's a
Don't
huge, it's a huge learning curve for a day, huge.
Yes.
A lot
Oh.
of professor from UMMC.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, that's fantastic. So I'll definitely join you on the 21st of October. And at the same time, I was gonna say that time flies when you're having fun. We've exceeded a bit more than 20 minutes, and I hope you guys don't mind about that. But I am also having to kind of sum up the conversation, and I guess a lot of things has been covered here. That is, for me, a lot of this information is somewhat hidden for someone as an average Joe like me, because I wouldn't know much. And I think seeing how Serene reacted kind of gives me the indication that the majority of women perhaps may have reacted the same way as she does, because they probably are not aware of the slightest things that we thought could make a major change. I'm just talking specifically on the breast cancer related where to prevent, right? For the man, well, so far I guess not to worry about male breast cancer yet, because we're still the minority, but still, breast cancer is the #1 major cancer for women worldwide. That's something I did not know, and many other things. Yeah. But having said that, I did want to also say that before I end this show, I didn't want it to end it as if like, what do we do next? You have this information, you can rewatch this stream anytime, you can share it. But I did mention the fact that it's an ongoing month of Cancer Awareness Month. And I just hope that with what Serene has gathered tonight, we'll be able to amplify our campaign together. And I'll be more than happy to kind of walk through or help, or if you want to advise me as well, Serene, on how you want to go about this. Because the things that Pink Ribbon has done for the past 2 decades or so has been remarkable. And Lily, I truly look up to your aspiration of being a true survivor of 3 separate incidents, because I do not know anyone in my life who's gone through that. And I'm sure this is a remarkable way to tell people who are going through the same thing, because there are many people who are trying to survive, whether it's the treatment or the last stages. So I really hope to kind of tell more people about your story, if that's okay, so that they can come to your center and get more of your vibe, your energy, your, and so forth. And Datuk, man, you're like a cool guy, bro. I mean, I can call you my bro, literally, because it's the way how you present yourself, it's like a young Engelbert Humperdinck, trying to tell me about breast cancer, which is amazing. So very informative. Like I said, like blew my mind.
Maybe, Lily, would you like to join, let them know about your Wednesday and Saturday sort of things that you do in the evenings?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We
What is it?
Yeah, we have our what we call peer support session.
Okay.
Every Wednesday, we try to rotate in terms of the language. We actually do it in 3 languages. So in fact, this Saturday we have it in Bahasa. We have it Friday, Wednesday, or alternatively is Saturday if we don't have any other events. Yeah, so this Saturday is in Bahasa. So we can actually reach out to many people, just on the Zoom platform. Everyone can just Zoom in. Yeah.
No.
So
I'd love to go.
Yeah.
I'll come still on the 21st, because 21st seems like the big one, but this Saturday is in Bahasa. Yeah, I love to come. But before I end the show, any last words, especially you, Serene, because you're the one who are soaking all the amazing juices from this session.
I think it's very insightful for me, because I really rarely heard about anything related to breast cancer awareness. So this is something that is very new for me. And I hope that I can get more information so I can do some content related to that and post it on my personal platform like Instagram. Yeah. And thank you so much for having me today. And nice meeting you all.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I hope to see you all in person soon.
On behalf of Pink Ribbon Wellness Foundation, we'd like to thank Incitement, especially Daniel, who have reached out contacting us through IG, Facebook, email, trying to get us to respond. And I was away in Melbourne. So he was so persistent. Yeah. So I'm really, really thankful to Incitement for having us join this the campaign together. We have a cancer-free Malaysia together with BCWA, NCSM, and MAGNA.
Yeah.
So the four of us are big organization that is first time that we actually work together to reach out and create a cancer-free Malaysia. I hope.
Thank you so much for that. He's watching from Europe right now. He's literally watching. He just showed me a photo of him watching while in the bathroom. No joke, but yeah. So he's watching.
Yeah, a founder and also the CEO contacting me directly. So it must be something big, that I should not turn away. So if whatever time it was very late, we had a Zoom chat, and our conversation just take off that way. I'm so thankful to Daniel as well. Yeah.
Well, he sends his regards, and he's very thankful that you managed to join us, and we want to keep working together. And I can't wait to meet you all in person soon. So with that, Dr. Dave, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for your enlightenment. Thank you so much.
Thanks all the partners. Yeah.
Story.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
And Serene, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much, guys. And that's it.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Good night.